What is up, my dashing dudes and darling dames? I am the Hans TV, and welcome back to the subreddit that's all about your terrible, horrible, awful, no good, very bad relationships. It's r/relationship advice. Our first post for today comes from GXzymo. I genuinely believe my friend's safety is in danger, but they aren't hearing what I say. I feel like I'm watching a car crash about to happen. Earlier this year, a locally well-known guy in my area got outed as a predator. Several women came forward with allegations against him, and although no charges were pressed, he was fired from his job and no one in the community wants anything to do with him. Because of this, he started working for himself a few times away. Recently, my friend, 25, texted me, all excited to tell me about their new job. I was ecstatic for them, as I knew they'd been struggling to find work. Imagine my shock when my friend told me they'd be working for this guy at his new shop. I asked if they knew what he'd been fired from his job for. They said yes, but just a bunch of rumors flying around. I said that I sincerely doubted every woman that came forward about him was lying. I'm also old friends with one of his victims, which I didn't disclose because it's not my place to. They said they'd done a background check on him, and it came back clean. I said that's because no formal charges were ever brought against him. They said he really needed the help. He hadn't been able to find anybody because no one wanted to work with him. I asked why they thought that might be, but they swore up and down that they would be fine. And it's not like it's my decision anyway. So I just asked them to please be careful, and they swore they would. Yesterday was their first day of work. I asked how it went. They said it was pretty slow. They mostly just answered some calls and had a funny conversation about tits, lol. I asked how that came about. The friend explained that because they bind their chest, the guy was under the impression that they were flat-chested and wanted to know what size they were without the binder. They saw nothing creepy about this. I didn't respond because I didn't really know what to say. I truly don't believe this guy is safe. I honestly believe they're going to end up in a bad situation, and they've already been through a few bad situations before. So I don't know how well they'd cope. It isn't my decision, and I feel like if I continue bringing it up, they're going to get pissed at me. Any advice you guys have would be greatly appreciated. It sounds to me like your friend is in denial because they got a job and they had been struggling to for the past few months. Which I get it, it's exciting, but at the same time you have to look at the underlying causes and see that, hey, maybe these comments that my boss is making are not appropriate, especially with the background of people coming forward and pressing allegations against him. Again, no formal charges were filed, but the allegations alone should tell you something, especially whenever it's a bunch of people coming forward. Our next post comes from Frog Kami. I'm a 22-year-old female and my boyfriend, who's 23, sleeps in games throughout most of his workday. I feel more like his mom than his girlfriend. Hi Reddit. This isn't as serious of a post as some of the other posts on this subreddit, but recently I've been concerned about my boyfriend, who has been increasingly slacking in his work. For context, he's an entry-level software engineer that has been working from home since the pandemic started. For starters, he's been sleeping until 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on workdays, only waking up for meetings and going back to sleep after. If I try to make him up before that, he will yell at me, but I've caught him sleeping through his meetings more than once. When he does eventually wake up, he sits at his desk and plays games until he absolutely needs to finish some of his work. Sometimes we plan on cooking dinner or doing other activities together after we both get off of work, but we have to push it back because he puts off doing his work and has to work past his usual end time to finish. He's told me that he's been asking his boss about a promotion, but I don't know how it'll go due to his recent performance. Even after work ends, he spends most of his time playing video games, and I have to physically drag him out or nag him to run errands with me. I feel terrible about this, because I don't like having to tell him what to do. He's also been gaining a lot of weight because he spends most of his day in bed or at his desk and has poor eating habits. I don't mind this as long as he's staying healthy, but he isn't, and I don't want to be the one to force him to eat a vegetable once in a while. Sometimes I'll cut him some fruit and feed it to him while he's playing games. At the end of the day, he sleeps super late because he's up playing games and doing 3-hour raids with in-game friends. And the cycle starts over again with him being unable to wake up in the mornings. I'll be honest, I'm getting tired of worrying about him and I'm feeling less attracted to him because of his recent behavior. I kind of feel more like a maid or his mom than a girlfriend. But I still love my boyfriend a lot. And I'm attributing his lack of motivation to do anything to the pandemic and quarantine. Is this just a temporary thing? Can anyone relate or offer some advice on how I can help him or myself? So, here's the thing. He's probably had these tendencies all along. He's probably just been too busy to actually act upon them. But with quarantine coming along and everything and making everything go online, he realized that he can just sit at his computer all day, and that's his excuse. You need to talk to him. And if he won't listen to what you have to say, I don't know what to tell you after that. Our next whisper today comes from Zipporah296. I am a 24-year-old female and am officially done with my emotionally abusive partner who's 47. My baby daughter comes first. It's a long story, but basically my ex is emotionally and mentally abusive. He gaslights me, plays with my head, and accuses me of things I don't do. Doesn't trust me and is a narcissist and only cares about himself and doesn't listen to anything I say or care about how I feel. I've been with him for 3 years and I put up with his trust issues and paranoia for a while. We loved each other, but went through the classic abuse cycle. I am done. I am mentally and emotionally exhausted. My heart hurts so much. I am so tired of pouring my heart out to him and him just thinking I'm gonna cheat or lie or leave him the entire time. He acts like a child. I've forgotten who I am. I am 24 years old and I have no friends. I can't even have friends without him wanting to know everything. Some examples of his shenanigans. He had to leave the army early because he thought I was apparently having an orgy with all the soldiers. I had to delete all my social media and all apps that involved making friends. He saw a random note on the ground outside that said, "You parked in my spot," and he thought I wrote it even though it blew there from the wind. Questions every message, text, and email, even if it's spam. Made me get a DNA test when I became pregnant. Once he saw that this was obviously his baby, he didn't even apologize. He thinks the house is tapped, thinks our phones are tapped, thinks the cops follow/watch him. I really could go on forever, but it's pointless. He loves me, but has a strange way of expressing it. He cuddles me, kisses me, takes me places, takes care of me, makes me laugh. We have so much fun together. Is a great father, but he likes to show inappropriate pictures of me at work. Brags about me all the time at work. Talks crap about me at work. Horses around way too much. He goes through my phone and questions everything that could be a guy that walks across my path. Questions my own family and friends. Oh yes, and should I mention that he is twice my age? What was I thinking? I literally wasted 3 years of my life. It is absolutely pointless arguing with him. He just turns the blame on me and says I'm the one who is crazy. I need medication and I am a liar. I am being defensive. If you weren't hiding anything, then why are you so angry? He literally makes me question my own sanity. I can't help, but I think I wish I never met him. I wish I was single. Wish I wasn't me. Wish I could start all over. I feel like a horrible mom. He gave me this beautiful baby. That's about it. And thank God for her in my life. I would have demonetized myself if she was never born. She literally saved me. Anyway, I can't be under the same roof with him. We aren't married. He wants me out of the house. I don't pay rent. I'm gonna buy one of his cars and I applied to some apartments. I'm filing for child support today. I requested info from a local housing shelter. Christmas is ruined. My baby does not need to go through this. I am not putting her through this. I need to get the hell out of the house and fast. It's all just so much and it's happening so fast. Within one day, I became a single mother. And he could easily change the locks or something, or putting a restraining order on me, or call me crazy and tell the court I'm unfit mother and I'm mentally unstable. So much is going through my head. It's just me and my beautiful daughter against the world now. I need advice. Single mothers out there, single fathers. I'm scared, stressed, depressed. Edit. I forgot to mention my baby is 7 months old. We were fine for about 2 months, then I got hit with PPD. I've been on meds since then. Once my baby was 4 months old, his shenanigans started again. So 3 months later, I'm yeeting my daughter and I away from him. I went through similar abuse my whole childhood. Not gonna happen. Not today, not ever. I don't think that I'm qualified to talk on this subject, but Caroline Mathels in the comments does. I do just want to say, because one part of this really stood out to me. He does not love you. He's not secretly a good person with a weird way of expressing his feelings. He feels no love for you. He is not a great father either. He's incapable of it. Also, I don't know how old your daughter is exactly, but Christmas isn't ruined for her. She has no idea what time of year it is. If any part of you feels guilty or sad for her not having Christmas this year, please don't. I assure you that she doesn't notice or care, and there are far more important things for you to focus on. And I agree with that. The most important thing you need to focus on right now, screw Christmas, screw the holidays. Get somewhere safe. Get away from him. You said that you dealt with this your whole life. Don't deal with it anymore. Find you someone who can care for you. And that doesn't have to be a guy. Find your dad, your mom, a shelter somewhere that can take care of you until you're able to get back on your feet. That is my advice. Our final post for today comes from Kitty is Adorable. How do I, a 19-year-old female, tell my mother who's a 40-year-old female that I don't want to see my abusive sister who's 18? So, my younger sister T was extremely abusive to me when we were kids. I don't want to get into the details, but she is probably a sociopath and narcissist, and she only views people as means to an end. She's physically, mentally, and emotionally abused me. My mom suffers from a form of schizophrenia that is triggered by stress and anxiety. T definitely took advantage of that, and our grandmother's enabling behavior. My mom would love a world where we got along, and I can't fault her for that. She had a really tough childhood, and really only had her siblings to help her through it. Like most people, she only saw T and my relationship as a bad case of sibling rivalry. My mom just called me 10 minutes ago and told me she's bringing everyone up to where I live with my dad to see me and give me gifts for Christmas on Monday. How do I tell her that I don't want to see T? I really hate the idea of making her sad, but I absolutely cannot deal with T's antics. Last time we were under the same roof, I had a panic attack. So here's what you need to do. You need to explain the whole situation to your mother and be like, Mom, this is no longer sibling rivalry. This has been going on since we were kids. At some point you do grow out of sibling rivalry. I know I have 3 older brothers, so I understand sibling rivalry, but at some point we actually grew out of it. We're actually like best friends now. And if she's still mentally, physically, and emotionally abusing you, then yeah, she's probably a sociopath or worse, a psychopath. So you need to keep her out of your life. And I mean, I know your mom is in a feeble state because of what she has, but try to break it to her gently. And don't just be like, Mom, she's not allowed. Be like, Mom, this happened, and I think that it'd be better if I don't see my sister. Well, all right, my dashing dudes and darling dames, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/relationship advice. I hope you liked the stories, and if you did, I'm going to link them in the description as always. And if you liked the video, subscribe, share, drop a like, and a comment down below with what you'd like to see me read next. A humongous thank you to everyone who continues to watch and subscribe to my videos. I cannot thank y'all enough for pushing this channel as y'all have, and I just can't explain my gratitude for all of you. All 536 of you as the time of recording is this video. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.